Hey, it's Nate Carver, your favorite mortgage guy, and today we are going to talk to Tracey Goens in Daphne, Alabama. She is an excellent real estate agent. Hey, I'm Nate Carver, and welcome to Between Two Doors. Hey, Tracey, how are you doing?
Good morning. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. We had a big storm last night, and not to date stamp this, but when did you start real estate? And was it originally in Daphne?
I started back in 2005. Yeah, and I was living in Daphne and all, so that's kind of where I got started back many years ago.
Let's a little bit about Daphne. I don't want to spoil it. It's a gem of a place. It's beautiful there.
It is. It really is. I actually went Sunday. They had a big band set up down there at the Bayfront Park, so you could bring your chairs, watch the sunset, listen to music. I mean, it was just so nice. Walk along the little things. So we really do live in paradise here. The more that I travel, and then you just come back and look around where you're at. It's a little gem here.
Nice. And you represent buyers and sellers in your market.
Yes, that's correct. I typically probably do about 60 to 70% listings and maybe, 40% buyers, but I do work both. I think it's important
Mhm.
because a lot of times my sellers have to sell and then they're buying. So I need to be able to transition into that other side of the, transaction to help them with the buying process because it's, a lot of moving parts when you're buying and selling a home.
Right. What brought you into the real estate world? Always interested in how people come
It's
to
not,
the.
I hear people say, oh, they love houses. That wasn't what's got it for me. I mean, I like helping people. And
Mhm.
I just thought, it's cool to go meet people and hear their stories. And when I go in their houses, it's not so much the house. I mean, I get to see some cool stuff, but you see things they have. If they've traveled, they have, things they've collected or furniture and stuff. And just, you kind of get to hear their story of where they're at. So it's just, I've always been intrigued with what people do for a living. I'll be out and I'll meet people, and it's not like a pickup line or something, but it's just I'm intrigued at what people do and where they've got. I've heard some really amazing stories. So I love people and I love helping people. So that's just kind of my passion for what I do through real estate.
Nice. Any of those relationships stand out? You don't have to tell me their names or anything, but what any of their stories stand out to you or getting their home might have actually changed their life?
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of times with first time home buyers, I know a lot of times people say, it's difficult because they're kind of needy, but to me, that trust in me helping them navigate all the ins and outs. I just helped one little couple and they're expecting a baby. And it warms my heart, when they send me a text or write me a review of like, I couldn't have done this without you. Or, I've had clients getting a divorce and, your whole world's turned upside down. And being able to be that, I'm not in sales. I mean, I'm a therapist, I'm a counselor, I'm a, find a handyman, get them boxes, movers, sometimes just call and calm them down when they think their world's falling apart of like, your
Right.
life's gonna suck for a couple months, but we will get through this and you'll be happy. So you have to be, I think, very compassionate and empathetic for your clients. And because you figure they're doing the most stressful thing in their life, other than probably death or divorce. So they're gonna be stressed out. They're gonna call you, they're gonna ask a million questions. But I think we just need to be patient and kind of trained in that's what's going to be expected.
Buying or selling a property, and it goes well beyond that date with
Yes.
you. Good.
Yes, it does. It does. Most of my clients become like friends. I get invitations to, hey, come over to the cookout. Here's the baby's birthday party, wedding invitation. Just, hey, you're in the neighborhood, come by and see the house, or, let's go do coffee, or, just I build a lifetime relationship with these people. And, that's where I think my business has grown, as far as being their realtor for life when their kids want to buy, or, hey, we're going to buy a condo at the beach. They
Mhm.
know to call me, that I'm the trusted expert. So I love that.
Somebody that's moving to Daphne, how far are they? What's the closest beach? How far away is that beach?
The closest beach, I mean, there's the bay at Fairhope, which is,
Yeah.
a few miles, but then, it's probably 45 minutes to an hour to the beach now with the traffic.
Got
So, it's depending on where you want to go or whatever. But there are a lot of beaches and bays, and a lot of people now are moving to Fish River. They like Fish River.
you.
Get away from a little bit from the hustle and bustle down at the beach, but I still like the beach. The beach is my happy place.
Yeah, and the rivers there, if you don't know, they're tell me, how close is that Bucky's? So there's a Bucky's. It's fairly new within the last few years, but it's a
It's
major.
about it's about 15 to 20 minutes from me,
There you
but
go. It's
it's like a
a
it's like a
landmark.
tourist attraction. I
It
mean, like,
is.
on the weekends, I saw somebody on TikTok or something. They were making like fun of it, but it was like, you go in there to, get gas, and the next thing you know, you came out with 2 bags of everything from, the beaver nuggets to beef jerky to a souvenir and a Bucky's t-shirt.
Have to go to anything but a Bucky's. So kind of fun. I'll do that trip plenty. Um, all right. So tell me, what are some of the things that you love about Daphne in your area that would bring new homeowners that would make them want to, oh, this is a place that I want to move to.
I do think it's a lifestyle that we have down here, from the restaurants and I'm an ambassador with the Chamber of Commerce. So, a lot of these small business owners, you're able to support them. We have Mardi Gras, which I'm a member of the Daphne organization. So, we have Mardi Gras, and, they have arts and craft festivals down here. And,
Mhm.
like I went to the Sunset, Music on the Bluff. The schools are good. Kids are in sports. They have a lot of sports and
Yeah.
activities, and dance, and things for the girls and the boys and everything. So it's very, I think, family oriented down here. I see a lot of that people want to move down here to have their kids involved in sports and activities. So it's just a very, I mean, I love where we live. I actually do, and people are really friendly.
In Fairhope, that area,
I,
there's a
I, lo-
lot
I
of
lost
them.
you on that question.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's try this again. So there are a lot of locally owned restaurants and got McDonald's and what have you, but the number of things that are locally owned is, I love it. It's got its own flavor for sure.
Yes.
Um, so tell me, what are some things that you love doing outside of real estate that your homeowners, home buyers might connect with?
We have a lot. I love music, local live music. So we have a lot of local musicians that will come down to the Bluegill, down to Bone and Barrel. I mean, Floribama. I mean, a lot of these places, even Bucky's Birdcage at the Grand Hotel, not the Bucky's truck stop, so to speak. But they have like a piano bar in there, and you can go
Oh,
there and listen to music. Go out. They have little fire pits out there, and you can watch the sunset. And you don't have to be a member of the Grand Hotel to actually go enjoy that or go have dinner there, which some people may not know. But there's a lot of local. I love to go listen to music. I love to go be outdoors. I love the beach. I was at a football, I mean, I'm sorry, baseball game last night. watching my grandson play ball. So, they
Mhm.
have dog parks. So, you can take your dogs to the dog parks and meet people. So there's just a lot of stuff going on in the area. And I love to be outside and just going to meet people at, listen to music or dinner or something. It just, that's just kind of what I love to do. That's my thing I do to rejuvenate, kind of is go out and just talk to people.
What's your favorite place?
My favorite place to go listen to music or go eat food.
Food. I'm a foodie, so let's
Food.
let's start.
Okay,
We'll
I
get
have I have I
food.
have two restaurants. I love to go to Southwood Kitchen and Daphne. Jerry
Yeah,
Matthews, like, yeah. And then they're really busy. So you can go next door to South Bar and they have a little bar and the little bistro table. So you can get in there without reservations a lot easier. So a lot of times I'll just go in there and go sit at the bar by myself and eat, or me and a girlfriend will go. And then when I'm in Fairhope, I love Tamara's downtown. That's one of my favorite.
yeah.
It's consistently good no matter what you get. There's a new place in Fairhope. I tried Kingfisher's is really good.
Yeah.
The food was very affordably priced. The service was great. I know they have a great outdoor seating area, so I think that's going to do really well, in the spring and summer. So that's a new place that I like.
Nice. All right. Music. Where do you like to go for your music?
Music, I do like going, like I said, to the Bluegill, but I do like going to Floribama. I mean, they have, the Wharf.
Yeah.
I mean, I just got tickets to with me and one of my girlfriends to go see Thomas Rhett. I think August, I'm sorry, June the
Yeah.
28th. But the Wharf, the Wharf has a lot of concerts, and I know it gets hot in the summer, but most of the seats are pretty good down there. So, and then I know there's a place in Fairhope called the Bookseller, and they have local musicians in there, like 5 to 8 and stuff. So that's a small local place too. But
Yeah.
yeah, just getting out and listening to music at some of the like local places is really cool.
At the amphitheater at the wharf, outside,
Yes,
outdoors. Oh my gosh, it was great. Great
it
concert.
is. It is. It is. Yeah. And you can walk around, they've got shops and places to eat and drink and stuff there. So, and like I said, most of the seats are pretty good in that theater and everything, without having to get the VIP seat. The view's pretty good. So
Yeah.
I enjoy going to do that.
Nice. I love it. Okay, so tell me a little bit about what you're doing in the world of charity, in social awareness,
Yeah.
and I'd love to touch a little bit on a couple of projects that I know you're involved in.
Sure, sure. I am on the board with the Baldwin County Child Advocacy Center, which they work with abused children in Baldwin County. And I think there was over 400 children last year that they helped in this county. So when you stop and think about it, it's probably somebody, that I know, kids, neighbors, or whatever. So it's a real sad situation, but they're a nonprofit. So I've been on the board for I think 8 going 9 years, but we just did our big fundraiser under the stars at Oak Hollow.
Mhm.
So they have a silent auction, live auction, band, foods catered, some adult beverages, and all the money they raise goes back. So we really are working on every year trying to get awareness to what we're doing. And, different
Mhm.
people may move here and not know about this and say, I'd love to, be a sponsor, be a donor. People can donate monthly or once a year if they need a tax write-off because they are a 501(c)(3). So it's a great cause.
So do y'all do the auction charity event annually?
Yes, annually. Yeah, and Hoss Mack, which was our sheriff, Anthony Lauer's the new, but he actually was the auctioneer again this year, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, they do it annually. It was their 16th year of doing it, and they
Okay.
started one in Orange Beach, which they'll do in November, which is called the Fall Ball, and it's a little bit more elegant. You dress up. It's at the Orange Beach Rec Center. So I went to that one last year for the first time, and that was a different. You kind of get a different clientele down there, closer to the beach, because Baldwin County is a large county.
Yeah.
So, I love that they're kind of spreading it out, but I think awareness, letting people know that we're here and what we're doing. And, I'm sure, people can do a sponsorship through their business. They can donate, people donated like a fishing charter, a condo at the beach, or, all kinds of baskets of, stuff to auction off and all. So, it's a way for them to give back, and be part of the community also.
Wow. So you helped last year a little over 400 children. What kinds of things are y'all doing for those kids?
Well, they have their facilities set up in Summerdale, but they actually, when children are abused, they actually go through that facility, and they're interviewed and forensic interviews and stuff. But they go into the schools and they do the puppet shows. I mean, there's times I'll go into and buy snacks and stuff for their facility. So when those kids come in, sometimes I was over there a few months ago, and a lady came and brought these little stuffed animals that were I think you could like heat them up and they like warm, like with the little beads in them. So, when the kids are in these situations and taken out of these situations, a lot of times they might need clothes, backpacks, things like that, something of comfort, so
Yeah.
I love that, they're able to do those things. So sometimes it's just small needs that people can, donate some, go to
Yeah.
Sam's and buy some, snacks and donate it to the facility because they are strictly nonprofit. So, just there's probably a lot of small things they need that we don't even realize that would be helpful to them.
Right. We're gonna come back. I think I'm gonna offer to do just a podcast with you on that organization so we can spend a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I could see if
Put the
Nikki,
spotlight on it. So, yeah.
director, wants to come on with me, and she can have a little bit more information. But it's a great program, and it's a great cause, and like I said, they are a nonprofit. And I know she
Yeah.
had told me that due to just a lot of cuts, that they get a lot of grants, but some of these grants are getting cut back where they're not getting as much funds. So that's affecting their budget and stuff. So yeah, definitely any awareness and people that want to get
Yeah.
involved, love that.
Yeah, I'll get that on the calendar for sure and see what we can do to put the
Okay.
spotlight on it for you. And then the other one you do is vocal.
Yeah, that is something that's really near and dear to my heart. Almost 18 years ago, my father was murdered. Horrible thing. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, but after that happened, I realized being a victim of crime, you're on the other side of the thing, and just you really don't know what to expect.
Hmm.
You've got a prosecutor that works for the county that's your lawyer, so to speak, but they have a victim service officer that will kind of help you and hold your hand through it. But as you know, every day there's something somewhere horrible happening. So as we are able to meet these people and connect to these people, we're able to, explain the process. I mean, I've had people reach out that, couldn't afford gas money to get to court, because the crime they may not live right here. They might have been down here on vacation, or something happened to their kid or something, and they've got to come from a couple counties away. So, there's gas they need. Sometimes, they're up there for a week at a time. Well, when you're at court, you've got to go eat, you got to go to somewhere and get something to eat. So, financially, it's a burden on them. They may be off work while they're doing this. So financially, we try to provide some assistance. And then a lot of times we'll go to court with them and sit with them in the courtroom, and then just, help, with some counseling sometimes, and just different things. And just, we do a candlelight vigil that's coming up, and I can get you the details on that. But just, being a support for people. And it's a horrible thing, but if I can do something good out of this to help others, I feel like I've, helped one person, and I'm shining the light for my dad to make a difference in other people's lives.
Bless you. Yeah, that's wonderful that you're doing that. Um, wow, we got two we're gonna talk about. We'll
Yeah.
do something with both of those. I'm happy
Okay.
to.
Thank.
Um, yeah, absolutely. So, what? We'll shift gears a little bit again.
Okay.
Real estate. This initially what we got here on the conversation with. So, what do your borrowers? Any advice that your borrowers, your clients looking to get a home, buy a home? What kind of advice would you give them that you would think would help them immensely in your area?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing they need to do is, find a real estate agent that you trust, and then the first thing I'm going to do is make sure they have talked to a lender, because they'll say, "Oh, I want my payments this," or, "What are the interest rates?" And I said, "Well, look, I'm not a, mortgage person. That's why we get a mortgage person." But if they sit down with a mortgage person and they know their income to debt ratio, what their budget is, because I said, you may qualify for more than you think, and then they can, or buying the interest rates down. There's a lot of things that a lender can help them with. And then once I know, like, we're kind of partner here, hey, 300,000 is our budget. Well, we can go and look, and then we know if we need closing costs costs and things like that, but they don't know. And then also insurance is a big thing, with hurricanes and wind and all that, if they're not aware about that. And then if they buy a property that's in a homeowners association, sometimes those HOAs and like some of these condos and stuff have gone up. Well, they need to factor that into their payments. So it's kind of an education process, because I'll tell my clients a lot of times there's never a stupid question, because they'll text, oh, this is a stupid question. I'm like, no, it's not a stupid question, because I said, I do this every day just like you do. So they don't know. We don't know. They don't know what they don't know. And if they're thinking it, they need to ask us. And I think the biggest thing I see is they don't understand what they're doing and why they're doing it. If you ask for documents, well, why is this lender asking me? Hey, we have to, find where you did your taxes or your student loans or whatever it is. And I said, but if you explain what you're doing, then they're like, oh, okay, I can get this. But when people don't understand what they're doing, then they're just like, well, that's stupid. Why do they need that? But if you explain, they're like, okay, I understand this. And they understand, and I think they build confidence in you more, that they trust you, that you're going to help them get there through the process.
You're right. Yeah, I tell them by the time they get to me as a lender, I tell them, usually almost always they have a real estate agent at that time, and so you the real estate agent and me the lender are their advocates,
Yes.
and you're the expert in finding the right home. I'm the expert in finding the right mortgage program and all the monies that go with that and all of that good stuff. And they're the expert in their own lives, their families, and their own careers. And so I'm like, let us be your advocate. We're here for you. We're here to do this piece of your life for you so that it can be as chaos free as possible, and
Yes.
enjoyable. You can buying a home can and is supposed to be a very enjoyable experience. And so that's
Yes, it is. And I've heard,
make
this
that
was the best experience ever. And then I've had some that, came in with their own lenders when they came to, and, they were like, this is, they felt so stressed out and everything. And I apologized and said, look, sometimes there's a piece of the puzzle I can't help with. We're kind of stuck with it. But if we communicate, I think communication
yeah
is huge, because if there's things going on my end, if I'm communicating it with you, and then we let the client know, we're all, like I said, I feel like we're a team, you know.
yeah
I love the fact when everybody, if something's going on with them, if they let us know, then we can all work together, versus, oh, if we'd have known this, we could have addressed this differently or proceeded different and made things a little bit easier for everybody.
you're right. We we want them to get a home. We that's why we're here,
Yeah.
is to help facilitate that. And then we also want to protect them in their home and protect their income and their future finances and well-being. So yeah, good explanations help calm all of that and keep them excited about the process. Well, they're gonna be excited about the house, period. The process, no one. It's
Yeah. They just
numbers.
want to get to the end result. And
They just want to get the end
there's
result.
a few steps we have to go through.
Yeah, yours is the sexy part. You get the house, the documents and numbers part. It's the burden I get to bear. So it's all right. So, well, that's awesome, Tracey. We are about out of time. So let me ask you this. If someone is looking to move to the Daphne, Alabama area and they need a great real estate agent, what is the best way, or sell a home in that area? What is the best way that they could get a hold of you?
It's Tracey Goens, and my phone number is 251-533-6832. I'm with Elite Real Estate, so they can reach out that way. And I have an email, but a lot of people just, they text, so they can definitely text me. And I'm on social media, Tracey Wilson Goens, so a lot of people, hit me up on Facebook too. So they
Mhm.
can message me on Facebook also.
All right. And anybody, wherever you're listening to this, I'll have the contact information for Tracey down below. I'll also include the Baldwin County Advocacy and Vocal. I'll put those links in there too for anybody who wants to follow up with you on those
Awesome,
two.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. That's great. Thank you for sharing that, because awareness, I think, is the biggest thing we can do, is let people know about it.
Nice. All right. Well, thank you so much, Tracey, and I will talk to you again soon.
Thank you. Y'all have a great week.